Please, dear friends, welcome Marnie and Professor Pat. What do you think of it? Give us your
Well,
opinion, Professor.
I've had it open now for a while, so it's changed somewhat, but it seems to have a nice the yeasty aromas that come off of it are very special. I mean, I've been to Champagne, I've been around to, different producers, and this one is really quite unusual.
What's amazing about this particular bottle, the Royale from Deloche, is that it does have that French magic all captured in the bottle, in part because this is from the very, very coldest growing region within the Russian River Valley appellation, a district known as the Green Valley. So the acidity is just brilliant. It gives you that whip crack
Yeah,
of
it is.
refreshment that just cleanses the senses and makes you hungrier and thirstier for the next sip and for the next bite of food.
Yeah, it's very much that way. Very, very nice. The acidity and also the fine bubbles that it's producing. It's wonderful.
We should try a very famous wine because we'd love to hear your idea of this wonderful wine, which obviously is a Ribolla Gialla made in an amphora. And dear friends, look at this unbelievable, unique golden orange color.
Yeah, that's very nice. I only have an empty bottle, which is from our past meeting that we had of the Natural Wine Group.
This wine, the Ribolla Gialla that we have in the glass right now, is made according to a very ancient method that has its roots in the region of Georgia. I do think that there's a fascination with wine history, with the origins of wine. And so returning to something frankly prehistoric, the idea of taking an underground vessel, throwing all the grapes in there, crushed, and essentially just putting a lid on it and walking away for 6 months to return to a fermented beverage. This is fascinating to me, and you're essentially getting a taste of history in the glass.
So, Professor, give us your honest opinion of this amazing wine. Talking about Vitis Vinifera, this is the king and queen of the white wine.
Right.
Obviously, it has the fleur de lis on it, which is the OFS, the finest selection of Deloche. And this is probably one of my favorite white wine, Chardonnay, coming out of the Deloche estate, made again by Brian Maloney and
Right.
Katie Carter.
It's it's a very well balanced Chardonnay, and I guess you did a very gentle bâtonnage, so it's the tannins and everything are nice, and it's nice fruit, a little bit of oak, but not overdone. So I think it's a wonderful, beautiful wine again.
So, dear friends, welcome to the fantastic. Woo! And look at this. This is so exciting,
Very nice.
isn't it? Bubbles from Burgundy.
It is. It's a nice spring day. What more can you want?
What more can we want? So, in terms of those two Chardonnays, we purposely,
Let's have a look at this one.
and Lisa again has never tasted most likely those wines before. We're trying Sonoma and Napa. So, two different areas, two different styles, known as different. So, maybe you walk us through how you perceive the differences and
Yeah, there's a real sort of bright cheeriness. You get some of that citrusy character in the Sonoma County one, and a real sort of intensity. It's got like an energy to it, doesn't it? And whereas the Napa one is so serious, isn't it? And again, you try to describe the personalities of the wine because this is what I feel is going to come across to the person that drinks them. There's something a little bit richer, something a little bit more sort of confident about the Napa Chardonnay. Maybe not so fun, maybe more serious.
That's it.
There. And I like that. There's a sort of oiliness
Yeah.
to the texture of the Napa Chardonnay, which is kind of more satiny in the texture of the Sonoma County one. And, both are great wines,
Thank
and
you.
I would say they're not far off in terms of quality when you
Thank
look
you.
at them. So we're really looking at our stylistic differences.
I wanted to bring a little surprise for Lisa, something she has no clue of what it is. It's actually in this decanter, the Passion Collection decanter. And I brought a wine. She doesn't know at all what it is. She hasn't tasted it. And the purpose of this is to have a great time with the very best, most phenomenal wine critique on the planet today. So, Lisa, and I purposely chose one of our wines, so if something dramatic happened, I'm the only one to blame.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's nice. So straight away, it's Pinot Noir.
Yes.
It's got obviously got the fruit characters of Pinot Noir, the sort of cranberries and raspberries and cherries. And so I know you're from Burgundy.
Yes.
And I know you make wines here in California. And so I'm like,
is she going to play with her mind?
It could be either Burgundy or it could be, Sonoma. The mind boggles. And when I taste this wine, it's really weird because I can see Burgundy in it. I can see Sonoma in it.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, it's
maybe
got
I played
like
a trick.
The best of both worlds.
Well, is it your thinking?
I don't know.
Both are here. She's looking at me with decided eyes. I hate to say,
you wouldn't.
She's actually right. How did you guess?
You're terrible.
We've never tasted this wine together. This is so cool because that shows you the level of skills. So maybe as we taste the next wine, maybe let's taste a blend. Again, I purposely chose some wines that Lisa has never tried before. So, and this wine is a wine we make with our good friend John Legend, as an example.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we have a wine named LVE, and John really wanted to make a wine. We became friends, and then we said, let's do it.
You've got a generous amount of fruit. You've got good amount of tannins, but they're very ripe. They're very soft. They're just contributing a beautiful texture to the wine. And you've got just enough acid there to lift the richness
John
of the wine.
is going to give you a big kiss when you see him. Because he was really actually very much part of it. We were in the red room at Raymond making the wine. And we drank too much that day. Him specifically, because he loves to swallow the wines to evaluate it. And he would love what you've said. So I served you a last wine.
Oh, okay.
And there's history in the bottle. This is Chateau Buena Vista, dear friends. Napa Valley Cabernet. And that's the latest vintage, 2018. So very young, dear friends.
I love the 18s, And I think that this is a great example of an 18 because it's got this brightness to it, this energy. It's got intensity. It's got weight. It's got, nice ripe tannins and everything that you expect from a really great Cabernet. But it's got that energy and that freshness as well.
Thank you. I love the fact that using my favorite word in the entire world is energy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased, honored, and flattered to bring Lynn Coy with us. Woohoo! Tell us what you think about this Burgundy sparkling, because then we're going to move to California.
Yes.
We're going to travel all around. But we'd love your feedback of what you think of this bubble.
Well, I love the elegance of this wine. I love the crisp, refreshing acidity. And I always think that to have a sparkling wine alternative to champagne is always something that our customers are really interested in. So something at this quality is obviously the type of wine that we would push people towards if they were champagne lovers, but who maybe didn't always want to buy champagne or wasn't always in the budget or whatever. So look, this is a delicious, really good quality. And also, I just think, as well as the freshness, the crispness, the good acidity, the balance, I love the fact it has got that touch of toasty, brioche type character, which, of course, I love as well. So it's delicious.
So now is the time for a little Sauvignon Blanc, Lynn. I can see you moving even faster than me. I love it.
So this is obviously a cooler climate, Sauvignon Blanc, in the sense that it's from the North Coast, lovely and fresh, it's got good acidity, a hint of slightly exotic fruit in the mid-palate. But I think this style of Sauvignon, it would be absolutely delicious with smoked salmon, with grills, with salads. It's a very, very summery style. And it's got the freshness, it's got the aroma profile to stand alone as an aperitif, of course, with nibbles, which would be delicious, but would match beautifully with summery foods. For me anyway, and I particularly think it would be delicious with things like gambas and shellfish and so on.
As a master of wine, why don't you give us your description of this next wine, which is, dear friends, the Raymond Cabernet Sauvignon that you could find obviously within Lynn's fabulous O'Brien stores throughout Ireland and England.
Well, when I opened this earlier, before we started to chat, the aromas of cassis was absolutely incredible, is what I thought when I opened the bottle and I put it into the glass. And that cassis is still with me. And I think it's evolved a bit in the glass because it has a slightly smoky, savoury note, which is really appealing, obviously, with Cabernet. And I know this is a cool climate Cabernet. It's grown at quite high elevation. And I think what that has done in terms of the flavour profile and in terms of the palate, it's got freshness and it's kept the acidity and it's kept the fruit very pure and forward. And still very much, this is the 16, but the fruit is still very much part of the overall structure of the wine. I mean, there are still hints, still slightly, not primary altogether, but still very fresh, pure fruit notes, as well as some of this developing fruit notes, that's like smokiness and savoury tones and a touch of spice there from the French oak, possibly, but absolutely delicious. And that fruit purity and acidity from the elevated vineyards, I think, comes through quite clearly on the wine.